most dangerous situation you've been in?
Okay, so I haven't actually had that many, but I do have one. So this is back when I was younger, probably around 18, 19, when we were traveling lots, partying lots, went to Croatia. And I wanted to continue partying. I loved partying back in the day. And everyone that we were all staying on this one boat, and all the girls except one wanted to go home. And I was like, oh, I want to keep going. There's an island over there. We got a boat to the island. Anyway, to get back to our boat, we needed someone to take us there. So we went down, we're just by the water, and there was a guy like, oh, I can take you back. I'm like, oh, cool. We'll buy you a drink. Come up, we'll keep partying. So came up, kept partying. The sky was crystal clear. And he's like, oh, I see a storm coming. We've got to go. And I definitely had a few drinks by then. I was like, okay, sounded weird, but let's go. Anyway, went down, got on his little speedboat. It was just me and my girlfriend. Got like smack bang in the middle of the water, absolutely nothing around. He turns off the engine. He turns to me and my friend, he goes, okay, girls, take your clothes off or jump. And I like, my heart just sank. I didn't know what to do. And so my girlfriend, she was a little bit more shy and timid. So she was kind of sitting in the corner and she was like, please, sir, please, sir. And I was like, shut up. I said, I'm not going to take my clothes off. I'll jump. And it kind of went on for what felt like an eternity. And he kept saying, well, okay, take your clothes off or jump. And I was like, I'm not going to tell. Like, something just came over me where I just found this like inner strength that I kept doing it. And I think it went like for about 5 minutes where he knew that we weren't going to do it. So then he ended up turning on the engine. He said, I'm just kidding, girls. I was like, you are not kidding. And anyway, ended up taking us back to where we were staying on the boat. And when I was about to jump off, he's like, oh, can I have a kiss? And I was like, oh, no, like trying to be super friendly. I was like, oh, no, I've got to go now. Bye. Jump off. And it was just one of those situations. I was like, you don't know what way it could have gone. I don't know how I'm going to react in those situations because you can't really plan for those. Well, you probably can. But I thought that was a good thing to do at the time. And thankfully it paid off because I didn't know if he had a gun, if we ended up jumping in the water. I don't know how far shore was. Like, it was really scary. I was in a foreign country. I felt like he would have done this multiple times and probably got women to take their clothes off. And anyway, so I feel like I do have some inner strength that just comes out in those situations, whereas my girlfriend who I was with, like, she couldn't handle it. And she was so scared, crying in the corner, where I had to be like, just like, stop that. Like, we've got to be strong in this situation. Anyway, it turned out for the best, thankfully. But it kind of it scared me for other people later on as well. And I was like, I don't know how, like, there's no one I could really tell, because he would just be sitting down there preying on women, drunk women, and doing this. So that was my near-death experience, I think. So
yeah, I'm like sitting here going, whoa, because yeah, you are the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's not too many options other than to stand your ground, fight. I mean, even if you fought, did you know which way to go if you got control of that boat?
Absolutely not. Like, we'd been in Croatia for a couple of days and it was pitch black. It was probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. There was like you could barely see the land around you. So I would have jumped before taking my clothes off. I just knew that in me. Right. But at the same time, I was like, if we do this, like, does he have a gun? Like, could he shoot us while we're in the water? Like, I had absolutely no idea. So it's one of those situations where I think you've just got to do what you've got to do and hope for the best. Like, what would you do? Like, I know you'd be able to fight, but if you were me, like, what would you do?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, and you kind of already said it, you were young and not the smartest decision, you know, and there's a saying, you know, don't do stupid things when where there's stupid people, right? Yeah. Or don't surround yourself with stupid people in stupid places. There's variants of the saying, but it always applies, you know, because especially with young kids that party all the time and they lose 100% awareness of really what's going on. So I'd say, yeah, that's the first rule. And if you are going to put yourself in those situations, then you definitely need to turn the awareness into overdrive and pay attention to that kind of stuff. But I kind of get like part of it, you needed a ride back anyway. So whether there was a storm or not, you're going to have to get on a boat. And this is a guy that, you thought you could rely on. But I think you're right. And the fight or flight that kicks in, I think standing your ground obviously is number one so that you don't become a victim. And number two, I think getting control of your friend was wise as well. I think your instincts put you right in the right place. And once he knew that you were projecting like strength, he was like, forget it. I don't want to deal with this. Because in his head, what if he gets knocked over the boat, knocked out of the boat, and now you guys take control and just leave him? I mean, there's so many, the both of you could overpower him. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you just have to do it. And that's sometimes the most difficult part. So yeah, I would say don't jump. Be ready to fight and do everything you can to get him off the boat, Yeah. And then take the propeller and, put it in his face.
Now I've been on SAS, I can do it.
Now I mean, you're jumping from jet boats to helicopters, so I think you'll be all right. Wow, that's a great story. That really is. Even though it was a horrible incident, that's something for everyone to think about and learn from. And it's interesting, this podcast is all about keeping safety, security, and survival at the forefront of people's minds in like creative ways, real world stories. And I know that when we have one scenario that's based on a nuclear explosion in New York City, right? It's actually in New Jersey, but the scenario is that you're in New York and you see this big mushroom cloud. And all the way up until a couple of weeks ago, even I thought, wow, that's a pretty crazy scenario to have in our hypothetical scenario library. But now you've got Putin invading Ukraine. And who would have thought that the words nuke would come out of any superpower's mouth? And so point being is no matter what our scenarios are, what's that?
Oh, just expect everything and anything, really.
Exactly. Yeah. You cannot like devalue any one scenario because what seems crazy today can certainly happen tomorrow. And it's been proven time and time again, but I appreciate you sharing that. That's a great story for, anybody, whether you're, no matter who you are, boy or girl, like getting trapped on a boat with a psycho, and standing your ground. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You're listening to Can You Survive This podcast? Thanks for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and share on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.